Hi, my name is Ryan Vickers. I'm a student at Liberty University currently enrolled in HSCO 511, Group Dynamics. For this class, I have an assignment to lead a group. Typically, I'm in a very task-based setting in the military and feel very comfortable leading groups in this setting. But for this assignment, I decided to step out of this comfort zone and step into a more traditional group setting. It was a community group that my church hosts once a week. I've been attending this group for about 6 months now. I've not really been a leader, I've just been a member contributing conversationally. The meeting I decided to lead was November 29th. It was held at the traditional location, which is the current group leader's house in Colorado Springs. The setup of the group was in a circle so all group members could face each other and hear what everyone was saying. This meeting had 12 people, and the topic at hand was the previous week's sermon of Mark 10:32 through 45. Prior to the meeting beginning, everyone was just conversing, talking about how their week was, just making small talk. And then, since it had been a few weeks since my wife and I had attended, everyone was asking how we were, how our baby was, just welcoming us back into the group. Once the clock said 6:30, I promptly began the meeting by asking everyone to take a seat in the living room. Once everyone was seated, I asked the traditional group leader to open the group up in prayer. When the prayer was complete, I started around and just asked everyone to describe their week in one word. Everyone willingly obliged this and got some answers such as busy, great, just those kind of answers. After this, I began to get into the heavy-hitting topics, which was the sermon. To do this, I just gave everyone a quick refresher as to what the sermon actually was covering and reread the passage in Mark. Once I was finished reading the passage in Mark, I opened up with the first question to the group. The question was, in what ways should we feel amazed and afraid when we consider the purpose and mission of Jesus in our own lives? Have you ever felt either in your walk with Christ? When this question was answered, a member of the group that is kind of got de facto power just based on where he works at Focus on the Family and just his personality, was the first one to answer this question. After his answer, several of the other group members followed suit. Strangely, when everyone answered, they all almost talked around in the circle, just following each other's lead. This continued on for several other questions until I asked a question about using Jesus to promote a personal agenda and what selfish things are sought after in prayer. This was a very interesting question because when I asked it, we sat in about 2 to 3 minutes of silence, just waiting for everyone to think whether or not they wanted to reveal what their selfish desires were and how they're using Jesus to promote their personal agenda. After this silence, I called out one of the more quiet members to share their thoughts. Just directly called them out, and then they answered me, but kind of begrudgingly. For the most part, the group was very engaged in the discussion and provided meaningful thoughts and comments on the topics at hand. One of the things I didn't do very effective in this group leading session was have effective transitions and conversations between topics. When asking questions, I would listen to what the group members were saying, and then when there was a lull in conversation, I would just ask the next question. What I should have done is summarize what was being said or use a link from that topic to the next topic. Another thing I didn't use effectively was eye communication with the non-speaking members of the group. I would simply focus on what was being said by that person and look solely at them as opposed to looking around the group and picking up nonverbal communication from everyone and engaging them. There were a couple things I did do well during this group session. One of the things I felt extremely prepared to facilitate the discussion. I was very confident in the sermon itself and the verses that were to be discussed. The church provided a couple of questions that were guidelines, and then I just based the discussion off those and then other questions. I also made sure to include everyone in the conversation and make sure everyone felt their opinion was welcome. There were a couple things with these things I learned. It'll help me to be more effective in a task-based setting. That way I can effectively communicate with people in the group. A big factor in feeling comfortable in leading this group was being prepared for the group to actually start. A big takeaway I got out of this group was to focus on what is being said as opposed to try and cram my desired content into a short session. Overall, the experience of leading this group that was outside my comfort zone was pretty rewarding to me, and I look forward to taking this step in the future.